Hello everybody, I have another truck story for you today. This is the story of Fredbod. Fredbod was once a famous house truck and was the same as mine. After 2 years of travelling on the road, I had met and befriended a couple with 6 kids. So I followed them around and my daughter became the 7th kid. It was getting to the end of the second season and we had decided that I needed a new motor for my truck because the petrol engine that was in it was just like guzzling petrol, man. Headwind on the Canterbury Plains and watch a full tank go down to empty. So needed to switch to a diesel motor, and we'd found this truck called Fredbod over on the west coast that had a house on it, but it was pretty rusted out. It had no brakes, it had no battery, it wouldn't start, it was knackered, and had offered them $1,500, and I decided I was going to go over and get this dead truck and do this transplant in the Winchester Main, which is in the middle of the South Island. And so I asked a friend to come with me, and he borrowed a vehicle, and we drove over Arthur's Pass in his vehicle from the Winchester Domain, and got over there and had a look at this truck, and it was just a pile of poos, man. It was full of rust, and my friend was like, "How are you going to drive this?" I was like, "Oh, she'll be right." So we put his vehicle on the deck of this truck, and we decided to take the Lewis because it wasn't as steep as the Arthur's. So we climbed over just before dark and got over the Lewis with fuck all brakes. I just stayed in low gear, up and down it. So if anyone got in front of me, I wouldn't have been able to stop. Oh my god. Anyway, so we ran out of light and the headlights didn't work anymore, so we pulled up on a bank so that we could run start it in the morning. My friend jumped in the back of the vehicle that was on the deck, and I slept in the cab. We flagged down a vehicle that was going over to Westport, and he jump started us early in the morning. And we were trying to get back to the Winchester Domain, and we ended up in a traffic jam with no brakes and a truck that wasn't going to start if we stopped. Very, very, very stressful. Ended up back at the Winchester Domain. I thought it was going to take about 12 hours. It took over 24, and my friends started stripping it down. We took everything off it that could be taken off it. Even the boards on the deck was taken home to become someone's garden edging. And these guys stripped this vehicle down to just a chassis and a motor and a cab. And all of the parts was loaded into my van. And God knows how much that weighed. Even a windscreen, so you couldn't even sit in the driver's seat of the van when it was finally hooked back onto the truck. And we stayed in the Domain for about 10 days and did this massive transplant of engines. A guy from round at the petrol station brought a forklift round for a dozen beers, and he removed the old petrol engine and put in the diesel one and swapped them around. We then proceeded to put it all back together. On the 10th day it was completed, and everyone left except me. I was left in the Domain with Fredbod, and the next day a scrap man came and picked him up by the cab and dumped him in this truck, and off he went to the scrap metal, probably to India to be recycled. Anyway, I was a bit sad that Fredbod had come to the end, but I was stoked that I now had a really fast diesel engine, and I got up to 90 k's on the Canterbury Plains and half the cost in diesel. So that's my Fredbod story. Okay, bye. It's had this most amazing time. They built huts because it was autumn and there was heaps of leaves, and they got towed all around the Domain on the back of the Fredbod's bonnet. There's the 7th child in the middle there. And they had a great time. We had bonfires every night, hang around the fire, and during the day we worked on the truck. These are the 2 grease monkeys that saved me this time. Probably should have showed that last, but that's finally it going. This is Fredbod. And engine going out, coming in, going out, coming in. It was massive. And after that I drove home.